All right. This is our second of our weekly podcasts about the Lean Publishing Daily. Maybe we'll do a daily podcast about Lean Publishing Daily at some point. Helen, what are we talking about today?
Well, one interesting thing is that one of the books that's for sale in the Leanpub Daily today is Henrik Nyberg's book on generative AI. This is a really interesting book just in itself. But it's also got an interesting story. So Henrik made a very popular YouTube video called "Generative AI in a Nutshell" that I think had a couple million views last I checked. And so he decided he worked very hard. Henrik is a very smart and well-known person. He made a very good video explaining AI for people who are curious about it and put a lot of work into it. And then he turned it into a book as well, which is just a really great idea. And you can go the other way as well, write a book and turn it into a popular YouTube video. But that's an interesting story. And it's interesting, like, if you're a content creator and you've got popular videos, turning them into books is a really good idea. The one thing I remember about Henrik, so you can see his really nice cover there of this sort of human-like figure talking to a robot-like figure. And Henrik was he sort of used AI assistants to sort of help decide on a cover image. And one thing he did was he originally, I believe,
he hand drew that. He hand drew that one though.
He hand drew that, but he had he drew it himself. But like the what should it be? What should it look like? Was questions he was asking, and so he initially had his idea was like to have Einstein talking to a robot. And he showed it to somebody. I think it might have been one of his kids or something like that. And they said, "Why is that robot following that old man? It looked menacing." He found that by just if I recall correctly, he found that by putting them closer together, it looked less like one was following the other. It was something like that.
Something like that. I think you might be conflating a bit. I worked on this one myself, actually. So I have a different memory of this. And now we're probably both going to be wrong. My memory of it is the first cover was Einstein. So one of Henrik's metaphors in this book is like, imagine if you have like Einstein like helping you out. But funnily enough, the place where Einstein would be like hanging out, helping you out was like in the basement. But it's like, it was kind of sad looking. It's like you had Einstein in the basement with like a light. It was kind of like you had like Einstein, like sort of, you had like Einstein kind of like prisoner in the basement. But so then he did this thing. And so then he went to the people walking, I think. And so like, I don't think Einstein was walking with Robot Buddy there, but yeah, when the robot was farther away, it looked like he was following him. Another thing that was funny, I remember about this one, is just the color of the cover. Like this nice sort of lilac color is just so much nicer than like if it was gray or if it was like anyway, yeah. So it was fun.
Yeah, it's an interesting example of how one of the uses one can make of the AIs is like feedback. Just someone like someone else. You register its feedback judiciously. I try and ask the right questions, things like that. But it can really help with iterating on things like color and composition and things like that. Even if you're creating it entirely yourself in the end.
Yeah, because Henrik's illustrations, like with this course, he has, like, ironically, for a course about generative AI, he has these hand-drawn illustrations that he's done himself, right? And well, I keep saying course. This is a book. There is a course version of this as well. The difference between the course and the book is that the course has quizzes and exercises and automated marking. So if you're at work and you're taking this course for work, get the course. And if you're not at work and you want to just like read the book, then get the book. Companies don't like paying people to sit around and read books, but they do love paying them to take courses. Speaking of which, there's another one we have here. So talk to me about this one.
This is Patterns of Application Development Using AI by Obi Fernandez, who's a longtime Leanpub best-selling author. And it's just a really fascinating book that's kind of cutting edge about the kind of patterns, which has a sort of specific kind of technical usage in some context. But there are patterns to using AI for basically coding and programming and specifically application development that Obi sort of found in his own work. And he sort of became, inspired to write a book based on this experience, like very real world experience that he had using AI to help with software development for applications. And this book also has been turned into a course. There's also a course version of it.
I think we have it on sale here in the newsletter as well. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on sale here. So if you want the course, get it now. Holy cow, is it cheap?
Yeah.
For this week.
Yeah. And it's interesting too. I think we mentioned this last week, but taking a course, answering questions, and getting graded and seeing what you got right and wrong after finishing a chapter about technical books is actually a really good way to read them. So having the course actually really does add a lot of value to your work reading it.
Yeah. And also like back up to the patterns idea, like the sort of, there's a classic book, Gang of Four, like the design patterns that like basically it's like sort of like essentially catalog of like patterns for doing like sort of classical, like sort of object-oriented programming. I read it probably like, geez, I'm old, many decades ago, a couple at least. So then this is like, AI needs a book like that. And so Obi's done the sort of similar type of thing where you have like the sort of introductory sort of foundational stuff and then like the pattern catalog in the second phase of it. Yeah, it's super, super good. Again, if you're at work, get the course. If you're not, well, actually it's more than just that. Like having quizzes and exercises really does like help you learn the material better. Like it's not just, get your company to buy the course, but like if you're at a company, get your company to buy the course. But if you're not, even if you're on your own, like right now, especially with this crazily good deal, this is the best way to learn this is the course. The book is also awesome and half price. Yeah. What else do we have going on in this? Lovely...
I remember the launch video for Don Jones's book.
Okay.
That was the career positioning system. So it's one of these kind of metaphors that's really kind of powerful once you get it. But, often in your career, you can see it as kind of incremental, or even not really have much of a concept of where you are in your career at all. And as I recall, what Don Jones came up with or found somewhere was this very inspiring idea of like we have an idea of a GPS where I am on a map and where I'm going, right? And taking that metaphor and applying it to your actual career. Where am I? Is there a mountain in front of me or a valley? Am I currently on a flat plain? But thinking like, what is the landscape that I'm on? Where am I going, and how do I get there? Looking ahead, and what can I do now to prepare? Should I am I going into a desert? Do I need a canteen?
Right.
I don't think I'm not saying he specifically uses those things, but that's the idea, and it's just a very powerful one.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially like now with lots of people being like, I mean, I think the sort of collective freak out about AI is, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, with GPT-5 just coming out, I think like some people are like, oh, good, we're not all going to be like, on the street. Like it's fine. But like, I think like with AI just coming up, people are like rethinking like, oh, okay, what am I doing? How can I use AI better in my career? Or is this something that I have to be concerned about? Do I have to start like looking for like what, how can I take advantage of use AI to make myself better and more indispensable instead of less indispensable? So yeah, that's really good. What else do we have here? That's good. So much. And bonus deals. Art of Effortless Programming by Eric Elliott.
Yes, so Eric is another best-selling Leanpub author. We did a podcast episode actually, so there's a podcast episode for this about this book where Eric talks in depth about his actually, like by coincidence, his use of AI in software development. And Eric's just really smart. He's working on the cutting edge of AI for a company I won't name, or at least he was at the time. And it's just another really great book about using AI for programming. And if you want to, there's kind of like, I'm not a programmer myself, but you hear about vibe coding and stuff like that. This is not that. This is not that at all. This is like the smart. You basically get to see how like the smart with this in Obi's book, like how are the smartest people in programming using AI to enhance what they do, and it's just kind of amazing.
Cool, right on. Okay. Well, yeah. So anyway, if you're not on our email newsletter already, you need to get on our email newsletters. This is all this stuff in one daily newsletter. So yeah. We also have a secret coupon page in our daily newsletters. If you're like, man, there's just so many words here. I don't like words. I just want to click on things. Then you can just click on this. And then it goes to a thing where you just see a bunch of this. And then you can just click on that. And then that's the same thing. But yeah, so if you're on, like, basically go to Leanpub, get on our newsletters. The easiest way, actually, the best way to get in our newsletters, go to Leanpub and buy something, especially if, or even just get a free thing. And then we prompt you, nag you, convince you to join our newsletters. So yeah, I hope that something there was useful for you guys. And we will, this is on X right now. We're going to put it on YouTube as well. And then over time, as Len and I get better at this, we're going to stream to like multiple platforms, like, you know, LinkedIn, whatever, YouTube, X, all at once. Hey, happy Friday.
All right. Yeah.
Have a good weekend. See you guys.
Thanks a lot.